Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're tackling how to become a corporate training manager. And let me tell you, the RoleCatcher resources we dug into are packed with insights. Get ready for some serious aha moments.
I'm excited to break it all down. There's so much to unpack here, but don't worry, we've got you covered.
Okay, so I was flipping through the RoleCatcher data, and one thing that really jumped out at me was this. 80%, a full 80% of top-performing training managers have strong project management skills. Who knew, right? It's not just about knowing the training stuff. It's about orchestrating these big, complex projects.
It's true, and it makes sense when you think about it. But what I find really interesting is how the whole training landscape is changing. I mean, forget those boring old images of folks stuck in stuffy boardrooms. We're talking online learning, personalized approaches, even simulations in VR.
It's so true, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics actually backs this up. They're predicting a 9% growth in this field by 2030. So it's not just, a fun and interesting field. It's a smart career move. So let's dive into the nitty-gritty. What does a corporate training manager actually do all day?
Well, they wear a lot of hats. I mean, they're designing and developing training programs, obviously, but they're also coordinating schedules and logistics, managing budgets.
Oh, right.
And even evaluating how effective those programs are.
So it's a blend of creative and strategic thinking. You're crafting these engaging experiences, but you're also, like the CEO of your training programs, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Exactly.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher reminded us that this career path can come with pretty nice salary and awesome growth opportunities.
It definitely does. But like any job, it has its challenges, long hours, high pressure situations, those come with the territory.
Right, of course. But, even with those challenges, RoleCatcher also really highlights the impact you can have on people. You're helping them grow, develop new skills, really reach their potential. I mean, that's pretty cool when you think about it.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the impact, the cool stuff, the challenges. But now I want to know, what does it really take to crush it in this role? What makes someone a training rock star? Thankfully, RoleCatcher gets into the nitty-gritty of the skills. And I got to say, some of this stuff surprised me.
Yeah, what I love about RoleCatcher's approach is they don't just give you some vague list, right? They've analyzed thousands of actual job descriptions to figure out the exact skills employers want to see.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they even rank them by how important they are, which is super helpful for, prioritizing what to focus on.
That's super smart. So remember we were talking about project management before?
Yeah.
It's not just a nice to have, right? RoleCatcher found it's essential for something like 80% of the top performers.
That's right, 80%. It's crucial. But it's not all spreadsheets and Gantt charts, right? I mean, we're talking about training here. There's got to be a human element too.
Right. So what else are we talking about here? What are those must-have skills?
Well, RoleCatcher highlights this really cool mix of what we call hard skills and soft skills. So yeah, instructional design is essential, and being able to evaluate how well a program is doing, that's key. But then you've got these interpersonal skills that are just as important. Things like communication, empathy, being able to motivate people.
Makes sense. You're not just like a robot delivering information. You're creating this whole experience for people.
Exactly. It's about connecting on a human level, building relationships, and that kind of leads us into the education piece, right?
Yeah, because I know some people listening are probably thinking, do I need a PhD to even get started in this field?
Right, exactly. And thankfully, RoleCatcher dives into that whole thing about education levels and different career paths. The good news is there isn't just one way to break into this world.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, definitely. So while a bachelor's degree is often the starting point, they found a bunch of different fields that can lead to a career in training.
Okay.
So of course, you've got the usual suspects like human resources, business administration. But then there are these other paths that might surprise you. Psychology, communications.
Interesting. So it's really about that mix of understanding people and having that strategic business mind.
Exactly. You need both. But RoleCatcher doesn't just stop at degrees. They go deeper into those certifications too. Remember those?
Yes. I've always been kind of curious about those. Fill us in.
Right. So they really clarify which certifications pack the most punch, which ones employers actually care about. Two big ones they highlighted were the CPLP, that's Certified Professional in Learning and Performance, and then there's the CPTM, the Certified Professional in Training Management.
Okay. So those are good ones to have on your radar.
Definitely. These certifications are like a signal to employers that you've really mastered those in-demand skills, that you're serious about this field.
It's like a stamp of approval, right?
Yeah, exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. RoleCatcher doesn't just leave you hanging with a list of skills and certs. They've actually mapped out these distinct career stages for a corporate training manager.
Oh, that's cool. So you can see how you might actually progress in this role step by step.
Exactly. So instead of this vague idea of climbing the ladder, you see a clear path from, say, starting as a training coordinator all the way up to a senior manager of learning and development, even beyond.
Okay, and they actually tell you what each of those stages looks like.
Yeah, they break it down, they lay out the typical tasks, responsibilities for each stage, even provide example profiles of people killing it in those roles. So you can see, like, okay, this is what success looks like at each level.
So if you're just starting out, you could look at that training coordinator profile and be like, all right, this is what I should be learning. These are the types of projects I should be taking on. This is the kind of experience I need to get to that next level.
Exactly. It's like they've given you a roadmap for your career,
Yeah.
which is incredibly valuable, especially in a field that's changing as quickly as corporate training.
Totally. It's not just about getting your foot in the door. It's about knowing where you want to go and having a plan to get there.
Exactly. I love that.
All right, so we've covered the skills, the certifications, those career stages. But how do you actually stand out? I mean, there's a lot of competition out there for these corporate training manager roles. How do you go from like, hey, I'm interested to you're hired?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Hmm.
Knowing the landscape is one thing, but actually having the tools and strategies to navigate it, that's what makes all the difference.
Totally. And thankfully, that's where RoleCatcher really shines. It goes from being this super informative guide, being like your secret weapon in the job search.
100%. They've got this whole arsenal of features that are designed to, you know, take the stress out of job hunting and really help you put your best foot forward.
For sure. So what are we talking about here? What are some of these secret weapons, these magic tools?
Well, right off the bat, they've got this awesome CV resume builder.
Well,
And it's not just any builder, it actually helps you tailor your resume specifically for corporate training manager roles.
oh, nice. So you're not just sending out some generic resume. You're really speaking their language, highlighting the stuff they care about.
Exactly. Remember those AI screening tools we talked about?
Oh, yeah, those things are everywhere now.
This builder actually helps you optimize your resume so it gets seen by humans, not just filtered out by some algorithm.
Oh, that's huge. Because, like, what's the point of having an amazing resume if it never gets read by a real person? Right.
Exactly. And then there's the interview prep section. I mean, this is like gold, especially for anyone who gets nervous in interviews, which is pretty much everyone, right?
Oh, yeah, I get the pre-interview jitters for sure.
Totally. So remember that crazy stat about 120,000 interview questions?
Oh, yeah, that blew my mind. Like, who has time to prepare for 120,000 questions?
Yeah. Right. Well, RoleCatcher has actually compiled all these common and some really tough interview questions that are specific to corporate training manager roles. And they don't just leave you hanging with the questions, they give you expert answers, insights into what interviewers are actually looking
Wow.
for. They even have this AI-powered feedback on your practice sessions, so you can practice your answers and get tips on like your body language, your tone, everything.
Okay, that is super cool. It's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
Right.
Okay, this is all amazing, but I gotta say, my favorite feature has got to be the jobs section. I mean, it just makes so much sense. It pulls in relevant job listings from all over the place.
It's so convenient.
You're not stuck, going from one job board to the next, constantly searching. It's all right there.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher Capture.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That little browser extension is a game changer. You see an interesting job posting on any website, boom, one click, and it's saved to your RoleCatcher dashboard. No more frantically bookmarking or like emailing links to yourself that you'll never find again.
It's amazing. It's like they thought of every little thing to make your job search easier.
Totally. And speaking of making things easier, we got to give a shout out to the Career Compass feature we talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah, the career compass. That one's really cool because this goes beyond just finding any job, right? This is about figuring out your long-term career goals.
Absolutely. Do you want to become the head of learning and development for a Fortune 500 company? Do you dream of starting your own training consultancy someday?
Right.
Whatever your vision is, RoleCatcher helps you figure out the skills you need, the experience you need to gain, even the connections that'll get you there. It's like having a personalized roadmap for your career.
I love that. So, okay, we've covered a ton of ground today. We explored this evolving world of corporate training. We talked about the skills and certifications that matter and how RoleCatcher can actually be your secret weapon in landing that dream job.
It's been quite a deep dive.
It really has. But before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with something to think about. I mean, we've talked a lot about the technical side of training, the strategies, the tools, the metrics. But I think at the heart of it all, great training is about human connection. It's about sparking that love of learning in others, helping them unlock their full potential. And that's something that goes way beyond just, checking boxes on a resume.
So true. Couldn't agree more.
So as you embark on this journey, remember to hold on to that human element. Because the most successful corporate training managers, they're not just experts in their field. They're passionate about people. They're natural mentors and motivators. And that's something you can't really teach. It comes from within.
It does. It's that spark, that passion that really makes a difference.
Absolutely. And hey, remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way. So go out there, embrace the challenge, find that passion, and become the training rock star you were meant to be.
We believe in you. Until next time, happy training.